welcome to the Kungfu Mama Show, Papa! What's up, guys? My name is Sarah Chang. I will be your host, and my co-host is Vincent Soberano, and my super awesome co-host is Kali J. Soberano, and we have, drumroll please, Robert Fan on the 3-cam setup. So guys, I'm super excited to be here. I'm super excited to talk to you guys about my latest endeavor, which is a Kungfu Mama podcast. Why am I doing this podcast? I'm doing this podcast because I am a mom and I would love to connect with some of you Kungfu moms for some advice for the road ahead. And also, I'd love to share some of my experiences here in Taiwan, giving birth and raising our 1.5-year-old cutie pie that is currently crawling onto a couch and may be in a dangerous situation soon. We'll see. All right, so a little bit about myself. I'm born and raised in Virginia. I came to Taiwan later in 2009, and I started working for sales and marketing companies. Soon I realized that things weren't really working. It wasn't really what my passion was. And I found that I went back to my roots, which is Wushu. I started Wushu when I was 7 years old. So now I am an actress, producer. Now also I am a full-time mom.
So what's up with Kung Fu?
What is Kung Fu? I think there's a huge misconception about what is Kung Fu. Kung Fu in Chinese means Gong Fu. That's how you say it. Gong Fu. It means skill, actually. It actually doesn't mean Hiya, 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 Kung Fu, and Wah, Hiya, hiya, hiya. And they do these really weird sounds.
My Kung Fu is better than yours.
No, Kung Fu actually means skill. So it's something you build up. So you could be having a high skill Kung Fu in martial arts. You could have high Kung Fu in cooking. You could have high Kung Fu in directing. You could have also high Kung Fu in being a mama. So that's the title, Kung Fu Mama. So I'm here to talk to all you Kung Fu moms out there, and I'm here to listen to all you Kung Fu moms out there because we know that we're in need of some advice for the years ahead. And maybe we can talk about some of the current or past interesting stories that we've had. We'd love to chat with you guys about that.
Yeah, we have no idea what we're getting into.
Flashback, I guess, to 2017 when Vince and I were in the Philippines. That year we worked on 7 movies that year. I'd say it was the busiest year in my life and the craziest. And then come 2018, we're just riding that wave of having done, for me that year, I'd done several lead roles. I was already booked for another lead role around March of 2018. I was ready for a lead role. And me and Vince are just having a great time. Also preparing for several other movies that were coming up down the road for the Philippines. I was so excited for the role. Come May, I was feeling like a little bit under the weather. I was a little bit confused. And then, one day I also vomited and I was like, oh, this is bad. Could I be pregnant? Then the next day I found out I actually had food poisoning. So I was like, okay, we're good. And then later on I got my period, so no need to have any alarms. I wasn't pregnant. No big deal. The next month, I was still feeling a little bit tired, a little bit nauseous, and I was like, this is a little bit weird. But we're fine. We're having a great time. We're still going out. We're still going out to bars. And then come, the end of the month, no period. I'm like, okay, maybe I should get a pregnancy test. So I got a pregnancy test. Lo and behold, I was pregnant. I had already been pregnant for 2 months. We had a great time those 2 months. It was not good. Anyways.
What happened to the movie then?
After I got the test results back, and I was actually 3 days before I was going to go out to do this movie, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I was just reading through the script over and over again. There's several scenes where I'll be punched in the stomach. it's one of those scenes about overcoming, and getting beat down, literally beat down. And I was like, I can't do that to my future baby. And so I had to turn down this amazing lead role.
For this?
Oh, for that.
For this. Okay.
It was all worth it. It was all worth it. I mean,
Good.
before you become a mom, you never know. You're completely apprehensive about what's going to happen. Oh, my life is going to change. Oh, I won't be able to do everything that I want to do. Of course, being an actress, it's really, a big thing. It's all about going to the next role, and the next role, and the next role. Having children was way, way, way in the back of my head at that point, and then here we are. Well, the good news is, hey, you can have a baby and you can still live your life. Right, Vince?
That's right. So that was actually quite interesting times when we found out that, that Sarah was pregnant, and we talked a lot about, so what are we gonna do? How are we gonna raise our baby, and where is the baby gonna be born? Is it gonna be in the U.S.? Is it gonna be in the Philippines? Is it gonna be in Taiwan? And so we have those options. Thank God, we have options for our family, to be where we want to be, between those three countries. So we had those options, and we basically wanted to find the right answers, and obviously the right answer for us at that point in time
is to be near my family in Taiwan. Taiwan has an amazing healthcare system, universal healthcare, number one. Number two, they actually have a low birth rate in Taiwan. They'll give you money to have a baby, which is amazing. So it actually really pretty much was a no-brainer. We went to this hospital called Dianthus out in Nehu, and we had like an amazing birth experience. I actually had a breech baby, so I actually had to have a C-section. So even before I even had any contractions or any type of pain, on week 38 we scheduled our C-section.
Yeah, the hospital was like a spaceship.
Yeah.
It was so nice, and it was so clean. It was so like sterile.
Yeah.
It was like, it really felt like I was in a spaceship.
Yeah, and the nurses and the doctors were all really nice. They're very informative, and they just made the birthing experience really, it's really pleasant. I went in the morning. I got up, got ready, and I went into the room, I think, at 10 a.m. And then literally within 10 minutes, they were like, 1 minute they were asking me about being an actress and what it was like to be in the Trigonal, and they were asking to add my fan page and talking about all sorts of random stuff while I was sitting there like pretty much crying, not because of pain, just because of anxiety, and just I didn't even know, like thinking about getting the anesthesia, like the huge needle that was gonna go into my spine, because like I have this thing that I get really twitchy when things touch my back, so I was like so worried that something was gonna go wrong, but they just kept talking to me about random stuff, and then lo and behold, the needle was in, everything was done, and then next thing you know it, right in front of me, like there's like a baby in my face. I was like, oh my god, is that mine? Did I have a baby? This is crazy.
Yeah, that was fast. I was like, I was taken by surprise. I was actually like outside. Unfortunately, they didn't let me go inside, to be with Sarah during the birth. I have to wait here, right?
Yeah, then can I have my phone so I
Sure.
can use them to record?
Okay.
有人可以帮我录像在里面，就是
Because as soon as they went in, I was pacing back and forth. I was quite nervous, and then I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna get some coffee because I need to calm down. And then I started to walk towards the elevator, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna sit down for a little bit. I probably sat down for like 1 minute. Nurse comes out with a baby in her arms, looks at me, calls out Sarah's name, of course, the mom, and I go like, oh well, that's my wife, and she's like, hands me the baby. She goes, this is yours. I'm like, what? Already? I was like in my mind, it's like, did you like? I mean, I mean, how did she drop the baby on the way to the operating room? Because that was like awful fast, you know, and I just didn't realize it was coming out like that fast. The first thing she does, she gives the baby to me, and she's like, and she points at the toes. She goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 toes, okay? Then she grabs the hands, flashes the hands at me, and she goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 fingers. And I'm like, is that supposed to be like an inventory? You know? I'm like, okay. I like, wow, that was crazy, you know. And she's just like, okay. And I'm like, can I hold the baby? And she like pulls it back, like, you know, like, no, don't, no touching. And then I'm like, please, can I hold the baby? I just want to take a picture. And so she literally puts the baby. She puts the baby in my arms while she's holding the baby, if you get it, you know. So, and then and so I like kind of took my selfies and all that stuff. And then she took the baby like quickly away from me, and she's like, she goes, we'll be right back. And she went back inside, and I went to sit down, and maybe 2 minutes later, another nurse comes out and calls me in, and that's when I get to see Sarah and the baby together for the first time, and that was pretty amazing.
Guys, I had a baby. I think this is my baby. I mean, it is my baby. I can't believe this happened. Wow. Look at her. Huh? Isn't she adorable? Adorable.
You're a mama.
I'm a mama. Hi, Callie Bear.
I mean, that was like boom, just blew my mind, you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was a totally out of body experience.
Yeah, yeah, and we ended up staying in the hospital for like 5 days. Is
Yeah,
that 5 days, right?
that's right. We stayed
Yeah.
at the hospital for 5 days.
Yeah, yeah, but the 5 days was because you had the C-section. So a lot of
Right.
women who have natural childbirth now will pretty much be out of the hospital after like a day or two.
Yeah, 3 days. They if you give a natural birth, then you are in the hospital for 3 days. If you're a C-section, then it's 5 days, and then after that, you can go to a postpartum center. I'm not sure which countries have a postpartum center. I think Taiwan, China, and Korea is what I've heard have postpartum centers, but I know they don't really have a lot in the US and Canada and more Western countries. So postpartum center is a place, it's almost like a spa that you go to after you give birth,
Like a resort.
like a resort, basically. So in this resort, quote unquote resort, you basically are going to be fed the things that you need to eat post birth. You'll have a doctor that visits you maybe once a week to check on your condition, check on your wound, check on like everything. And then every day the nurse will also check on you and make sure that check on you in terms of your conditions, and also check on your baby. So they check on several things for your baby, things that you need to check on within the first 30 days that will have to be taken care of.
They
Some
also
babies-
teach you.
and they also teach you how to bathe the baby, you know,
How
how
to
to feed,
breastfeed.
how to breastfeed. You know, like in the first couple weeks of breastfeeding, it's quite painful, and it can be frustrating if, you know, your baby's not latching properly and all those things. So it's just such a relief to have someone you can talk to in the center 24 hours a day, and the baby can be in the room with you 24 hours a day, or you can have the baby be with them, and you can, you know, pump out your milk and have the nurses feed your baby while you sleep at night. You can actually get sleep, and the food is amazing. You know, they have really healthy choices for you. after birth in Taiwan, they really want you to eat more like warm foods, because after you have a baby, your body's supposed to be very cold, so they prepare a lot of things with ginger in it, and a lot of teas, and a lot of really nutritious soups. And then, yeah, they teach you, you know, what basically you're parenting for dummies before, you know, you get to go home and have to take care of the baby all by yourself.
Yeah, what's really cool about that too is because, you know, it really prevents postpartum syndrome.
Yeah.
But, you know, with a 30-day postpartum center, with this system, it's really, really nice. You're so fresh. You came back from the postpartum center feeling really, really ready, you know.
Yeah.
And for me as a dad, I felt the same way because I got to live there with you for 30 days,
Yes.
which is the cool thing about it.
Yeah,
Because not only that they trained you, they trained me too, you know. So,
Exactly.
yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff about that, but there's also some things that some people don't agree with. Is that the postpartum center, which I mean, a lot of they believe that you shouldn't be exposing the baby to you know, unneeded bacteria or other people. So actually, only the father, the mother, and maybe one extended relative, like the grandmother, is allowed to like actually be inside the room and actually touch the baby.
Yeah, visitors have
Yeah.
to look at a baby through a monitor. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
but they're super extra careful. They figure it's
Yeah.
for 30 days. Be super careful, and then after 30 days, you're kind of on your own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So yeah,
It's crazy because like you know, your friends want to come. You had a baby, you know. They really, so they came in and they have to like watch them through a monitor, and like it's funny because you're always nervous whether, okay, maybe it'll be a good hour for them to come, and then every time you get your visitor to come in, the baby's like crying, and like I'm like, yeah, that crying one, that one in number 6, that one's mine. It's really interesting how a baby perceives you and perceives things. 'Cause in the beginning, they can't actually see color. They're sort of in the black and white, and they slowly get into seeing colors. But so we have a very laughy baby. Very laughy baby. Callie! Callie, say hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Yeah, hi. See, she's really good at waving. She's very good at waving. She waves at everything. She waves at the animals. She waves at people. She's actually also, our code word for her is she is the mayor of Beijing, because she goes around waving at everybody, no matter who they are, which is amazing. She's very inviting and very kind to everyone, and she also can fly, of course. But anyways, that's all we have for this week. We'll be talking about traveling with babies next week, and we look forward to seeing you again. Make sure to follow our social media at Kungfu Mama Show and IG, Facebook, and YouTube. And feel free to let us know what you want to talk about. We'd love to hear from you guys. Anyways, woo woo woo! Great to see you guys. Thanks for being on the Kungfu Mama Show. Yeah.
Kung Fu Mama right there. Kung Fu Mama right there.
Done with the first episode. Woo woo woo.